All right. We now welcome on a very special guest. He is coming off a T14 at the Byron Nelson, a first place finish at the North Texas US Open qualifier with a career low round, and a Northwood Country Club course record of 62. It is PGA Tour golfer, the real C Young, Carson Young. Carson, first off, thank you so much for coming on. Really means a lot.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So my first question is, did your wife show you the tweet with the selfie on it?
She did. She showed me after the round, so that was legendary. The fact that you took that photo and called an 8 under is very impressive.
Yeah, so that's actually the second time I've done that. I think it was Will Zalatoris after like the Friday and he like made the cut. I called a -7 and he ended up going on to win the St. Jude that weekend. So
How about
that
that? Maybe you're just the good luck charm. I need you around. I'll be
yes.
shooting 7 or 8 under every day.
Yes. So for the listeners that don't know, Carson was nice enough to take a selfie with me before the Saturday of Byron Nelson, and then I tweeted it out and said, 8 under incoming, right? And he went out and shot an 63 8 under at TPC Craig Ranch. So how much of the 160K that you won do you think I should get?
Yeah, honestly, you might deserve a little bit. If this is, if you do it again, I'll definitely give you some. But it has to happen again. I'm calling
Well,
beginner's luck.
yeah, so I tweeted again yesterday evening, and I was like, look, like no big deal, but I actually like texted Carson this morning, and then he went out and shot a 63 and a 62 on the same day. So
This is true. Whenever I'm in contact, yeah, good golf is
so
happening.
so has it really like sunk in that you're going to be playing at the US Open in 3 weeks?
I don't know. I mean, today I feel like it did. Gotten to thinking about it a little bit, and man, I'm excited. First major, and for it to be a U.S. Open, it couldn't be better. I'm super stoked, and I know my wife and whole family and everybody's excited for me. So it should be a fun trip to LA with everybody being there, and yeah, I'm just excited.
Yeah, that is going to be awesome. We're all super excited to watch you too. You got a lot of fans in the like golf Twitter community and in this whole space. So, um, you had a streak on yesterday of 8 birdies. I mean, were you just unconscious? Were you even aware that you were on an 8 birdie streak?
I was aware. I mean, I guess my golf game was slightly unconscious, but yeah, after about six, it kind of hit. It's like, man, I'm on a six streak here. I think my most I've ever made is seven. So to make eight was impressive. And then it's funny because I honestly blew it on for my ninth birdie in a row. It was a par five. I had a perfect three wood into the green and put it greenside bunker. And I was like, get this up and down for nine in a row. And I wasn't able to do it, but man, that was yeah, that's what got me going for sure.
Nice. Yeah, it would. We couldn't track like the shots, but I was literally refreshing like just every time I could while I was at work, just waiting for the next hole to pop up. So I kind of want to talk about like your first season on the PGA Tour as a whole. So, this year, at the start of the season, you had a streak. You made a couple cuts, but you had 8 missed cuts over the first 4 months. What do you think really clicked for you at the Honda that sort of propelled you over the last couple months to 6 T30 finishes, 4 T20 finishes in just 3 months?
Yeah, at the Honda, I feel like right before the Honda, I started hitting it well again. Kind of, that's been my forte. Just my whole career is kind of as a ball striker. Not very long off the tee, but generally pretty straight and pretty good iron game. And so I kind of had that going a week or two before Honda, and then Honda came around, and I threw a new putter in the bag, and had some putting lessons, and really the putter's what got me going. That's been my downfall in the past. Kind of streaky with the putter, and it's just been feeling a lot more consistent as of late. And I feel like I'm finally hitting my lines and seeing the greens and break a lot better. So yeah, for me, it usually comes down to the short game and putting. And at Honda, I really found something there with the putter, and it's been good pretty much ever since. And yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. Making putts is fun.
Oh yeah. I've had days where I don't play golf all that often, but I have had days where I feel like I just can't miss. Like I'm just zoned in, and I feel like that's kind of how it's been for you for the past couple months.
Yeah, it can be so frustrating just striping your ball and then missing a 6-footer for birdie and just doing that on repeat. That can definitely wear on you. So it's good to finally make a few of those.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like at the Byron you had on Saturday at least, not you weren't even needing to make any long putts. Your ball striking was just incredible that day, and I feel like I was watching you make more 4-footers than anything.
Yeah, yeah. When you hit it that well, it makes putting a whole lot easier. Not having to grind over a 8-10 footer. So yeah, everything was going well.
I remember walking up on.
Were you there for the whole round?
Yeah, so I wasn't able to follow you the whole round because I was with my wife, and she wanted to go watch Scotty and Ryan Palmer, because I was actually a student athlete. Yeah, I was actually a student athlete at Texas A&M. I was on the swim team, actually the same time you were at Clemson.
That's right. I saw your Texas A&M jersey out there.
Yeah. So when I walked up on the 9 green, your uncle was like, "An Aggie rooting for like a Tiger?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just a fan." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool."
That's great.
But yeah, so I definitely followed the whole front 9, and then I joined back in on hole 9. And but I remember walking up on 13, and I kind of walked up 14, and then you were just in front of the 4 feet from the hole, and I was like, "Oh, I missed a great shot."
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite shot that day? Like my favorite was honestly like that, the approach on 9, and then your chip. I think it was your chip on 14 was just like the most incredible touch I've ever seen.
Sorry, can you say that again? You saw my chip on 14 and something else?
So your chip on 14 was just, that was one of my favorite shots of the round. It like you were kind of off the green in the front. You had to go over a bunker, and it kind of had, a slight slope to it, but you put it to like 2 feet, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, that was definitely a great shot. Definitely my short game, my chipping stats. Some friends back home would give me a hard time about my chipping. They've been laughing about that. Oh, see, you finally figured that out the past couple of weeks. I was like, yeah, it's been a little bit better. But yeah, that was definitely a good chip. That I guess I'm glad you realized it was a good shot, because it definitely wasn't easy. I guess from afar it might have looked easier, but
no, yeah, I could definitely tell. And then, so not gonna lie, I was definitely aware you were at -7 going into 9. And when I saw you walk over to the right rough, I was like, "Oh no, like he's gonna have to lay up on 9. Like, this is gonna be tough." And so you laid up, and I was like, "All right, like we got close." And then it was like you stuck it to like 3 feet from. Do you remember how far you were?
From my approach shot, I think I was 155 or
155,
somewhere in the 50s.
Yeah, it was an incredible shot, just like right over the pin, spun back the perfect amount, 4 feet for birdie, and you sunk it. And we were all cheering super loud for you. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. But it was funny because the tees were back that day on 9, and even if I had hit it in the fairway, it would have been kind of a long approach, 260, 70 to the pin. And I hadn't been hitting my 3-wood great that tournament. So I hit it in the rough off the tee, and I told my caddy, I was like, "I bet you're happy that I hit it in the rough. It makes your job easier about whether to lay up or not." And so it worked out to lay up, and that's a number that I've been dialed with lately, from 150. And yeah, it worked out great.
That's awesome. Here, I'm gonna add Steve Shermer. He is my co-host of the Golf Gambling Podcast.
What's up, Steve?
Hey, Carson, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
I'm good. Good to meet you.
Yeah, thank you for having us or coming on the show tonight. It's great to have a PGA Tour pro on our show. Yeah, so yeah, we'll pick your brain. Yeah, definitely. So
so we just finished talking about the Byron Nelson. So
okay.
We kind of talked about that, the US Open a little bit as well. So Carson, what has been the biggest difference between the Korn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tour? Because I know you played on the Korn Ferry Tour for a couple years, right?
Yeah, just 1 year actually, just last year.
Oh, okay.
One and done for me. The biggest difference though, like with my golf game, or just like with the tours, or
just like is there a difference in can you tell a difference in the play, like the vibe, like of the guys you're playing with, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean Korn Ferry, I feel like the guys are honestly just as good as the guys out here on the PGA Tour. It's just a matter of having a few good weeks out there, and it feels like almost any of the guys out there can make it. The vibe out there is honestly probably a little bit more uptight, just because everybody's stressed about either keeping their card or trying to, get inside that top 25 at the end of the year, especially coming down, the second half of the year.
Are there any guys? Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, out here on the PGA Tour, it seems a little more laid back. Everybody's, playing for bigger purses, and
yeah.
It just seems a little bit, I don't know. It's definitely a lot more fun out here, I would say, than on the Korn Ferry.
Is there anyone you've played with yet that you kind of vibe, like you have really enjoyed playing with, that you might not have expected?
I enjoy playing with Minwoo Lee at RBC. He's a super chill guy. He's pretty funny. So that was a lot of fun. Let's see who else. Man, on Korn Ferry, I feel like I played with Boo Weekly a couple of times, and that guy's a trip.
Yeah,
he hits a lot of fairways. He strikes his golf ball, that's for sure. And it's funny. He gave me I played with him. Where was it? And I think it was in Maine. I played with Boo the first two rounds, and he comes up to me on the range in the third round and was like, "Man, I just hit my first OB ball yesterday." It's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I've never hit a ball OB in professional golf since I've been on the PGA Tour. I was like, no, you're not. You're lying. He was like, no, I ain't lying, because he talks crap like that a lot. And I believe it, honestly. If that actually is a true fact, then that might be the most impressive fact that nobody knows about, because
that is awesome.
Man, to not ever hit an OB ball in competition is
yeah.
He was so upset about it.
Yeah, I bet I could go through the shot link data and probably debunk that very quickly.
You probably could. So, yeah,
you probably could. So, yeah.
So you're playing with Austin Eckroat and Paul Lacey, I believe, on Thursday and Friday. Do you know Austin? I know he was in the qualifier yesterday.
Yeah, I know Austin. We've played a few times over Korn Ferry and some practice rounds together out here this year. He's a really good dude. I like playing with Austin. He's got a chill vibe to him, and I saw he qualified yesterday as well, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we can chat about that a little bit tomorrow. And yeah, I like Austin a lot. And also Paul Haley, I've played with him a few times this year. Played with him in Puerto Rico third round, and another time this year. And he's another great dude, and we're gonna have a good time out there.
And the 62 yesterday, that was your personal best, right? I know it was a course record there.
Yeah, in competition, I guess that probably is my low. Yes.
So you've gone lower, not like just playing on your own.
Yeah, I've shot a 59 before.
Awesome.
Or 59. Yeah. That was a course record, but they recently changed the greens and some bunkers out there, so I guess it's not really considered a course record anymore. But yeah, it was cool to shoot a 62 and a course record in competition for once, and break Scotty Scheffler's course record out there. So that's
I didn't realize Scotty held that.
There you go.
That's right.
No
that's what
way.
They told me.
That is so cool. So Steve is our our local or our personal golf course expert. Is there any questions that you
Okay.
want to ask him about Colonial Country Club, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're playing there. I don't know if you played there before, but I guess when you come into a tournament, do you just use the practice rounds just as your prep, or is there anything else you do as far as like maybe ask around as far as how it plays, or you do any reconnaissance? I guess maybe walk us through how you prep for a tournament if you've never played that course before.
Yeah, I usually just go out and play a practice round. Usually 9 on Monday, 9 on Tuesday, unless I'm in the pro-am on Wednesday, then I'll save a 9 for that. But today I just played 9 holes just because I was beat after 36 yesterday. I'm first alternate for the pro tomorrow, so we'll see if I get to see the other 9 or not. But fortunately, we had a tournament here in college about 7 or 8 years ago. So at least I've seen this course, which is nice. Unlike most of the courses out here on the PGA Tour, it's usually a first time. But yeah, as the week goes on, you kind of expect every course to kind of get firmer and faster. Today out here, it was, the greens were pretty soft and slow, and the fairways didn't have too much speed to them. So you kind of prep in a way that is going to get a lot firmer and faster, and you kind of scout out the greens mainly, and kind of figure out where you want to miss it, and good spots to hit it around the green, and just mainly hit a bunch of chip shots and putts to pass hole locations. But yeah, I like this course a lot. It seems like it's somewhat of a ball striker's golf course. I mean, you gotta hit it straight off the tee. It seems like there's a lot of bunkers that are 295 carry. So since I don't quite have that carry for the most part, unless it's downwind, I'll just be threading a bunch of 3-woods out there, or maybe some bunt drivers. So yeah, I mean, I love the course, and I feel like it kind of sets up well. It feels similar tightness-wise to the RBC Heritage down at Hilton Head. So it seems like it's kind of right up my alley.
Okay. What would you say would be the most difficult aspect of Colonial in your opinion?
I would say around the greens, they're pretty small greens. You can definitely short side yourself if you don't hit it in the right spot. The rough wasn't too bad out there. It didn't seem to be much grain in the Bermuda as well. It seems like a lot of Bermudas kind of died off, or I'm not sure if they've overseeded it with something. So the chipping around the greens doesn't seem as tough as what I've heard in the past, at least. So yeah.
So Steve deep dives into every golf course for every event. And all the way down to like, what type of grass is in the fairway, what type of grass is in the rough, what type of grass is on the greens. Do you kind of do any of that research, or do you consciously go in knowing, hey, I'm really good on this type of grass, like I should play here? Or is that just kind of something we look at that doesn't really matter?
Yeah, I don't really look into that too much, honestly. I mean, growing up in the South, I'm used to Bermuda. I know that gives a lot of guys some trouble, especially around the greens, and learning how to hit those into the grain chip shots. So I'm comfortable in Bermuda just because that's what I grew up on. But obviously, I know when I go up north, I'm getting that longer fescue, overseed ryegrass, and it's a different form chipping, but I feel like it's a simple form, just kind of a bigger swing, kind of dump it out on the green, chip shots. You don't have to think about the lie as much like you do with Bermuda and which way the grain's going and all that. So I don't think about that too much about where I'm going to play. If anything, I'll see how long the course is, I guess. And I mean, being a rookie out here, I'm just playing whatever I can get in, honestly. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if it fits my game or not. I'm going to go out there and do my best.
Yeah,
so.
Of course, of course.
There you go. Well, I mean, you mentioned that Colonial seems like it's playing a little softer. I know they had some rain recently. I mean, we've seen some terms. I know last year, I think the winning score was 9 under. Do you think this course might be a little more gettable this year, where maybe you can have a big, hot birdie streak like you had yesterday there, and maybe run up to like 16, 17 under? I guess where do you think this tournament's going to end up on Sunday as far as like winning score, or just the type of tournament we might be seeing?
Yeah, after playing it today, I think 9 under is not going to, be nearly enough. I think it's going to be in the high teens for sure. I mean, maybe somebody will sneak in the 20s, but I think it's going to be, you're going to have to get at least 15 under, in my opinion. I think 9 under still going to be a good score. I think it's going to be, you know, maybe a top 30 finish, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the top of the leaderboard. But I could be wrong. You just never know, especially as the week goes on, how the conditions will play out. But yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. So we actually have a question from on Twitter. You have a shot tracker, and he is a really cool guy. I've been talking to him a lot.
Oh yeah.
But his question is, how did you meet your caddy? I think his name's Matt.
It is Matt Page.
Yeah, he's just curious, like, how you guys met, you know, how, you know, you guys have you guys played golf together, like what that sort of thing.
Yeah, he kind of just fell into my lap. My caddy that caddied for me most of the season on the Corn Ferry was Daniel Castles, and he roomed with Matt Page pretty much all for the past couple of years while he was caddying on tour out there on the Corn Ferry. And Daniel ended up taking a assistant coaching job at Georgia Southern.
Oh, nice.
And that's kind of been his dream. So I told him, you know, do that. That's great for you and your family. That's what you've always wanted to do. So he said, well, great. He'll do that. And he linked me up with the guy he's been rooming with for the past couple of years, which is Matt. And I mean, I've gotten dinner with him a few times before we actually linked up, and he was my caddy. So, I mean, I told him I liked the guy. He seemed like, you know, he's been out there a while, and he caddied for Steven
Jaeger?
I don't know, not Jaeger. He was on the Corn Ferry. He ended up losing his card.
Okay.
So
okay.
It worked out that, you know, he was able to get the bag for me, and it worked out for me as well. So it was a promotion for him and me to go straight to the big stage. But no, Matt's been great. He's a guy who doesn't, you know, he doesn't say a whole lot. He kind of knows what to say, you know, around me, because I'm a guy out there who doesn't. I don't like socialize a whole lot. I'm not like a chatterbox, like laughing it up while I'm out there. I'm pretty cold stone out there, honestly. I mean, I try to have a good time. I mean, as much as I can. Just being out here, it's a blast. But when I'm in competition mode, yeah, Matt's been great, and yeah, it's been a whole lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess speaking more a little bit of your caddy player dynamic. Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, you know, let's say you go through a little bit of a rough patch on the course there. What are some things that maybe Matt does to kind of lift your spirits, maybe redirect your focus a little bit?
Yeah, he'll kind of take some jabs at me, or just some short little jokes, just to kind of make me chuckle here and there, and just get me back on track, and be like, bro, we're out here on the PGA Tour, like, you know, just put things in perspective for me. But yeah, I mean, Matt's been great, and I feel like we have you know, each tournament, I feel like we're starting to vibe more and more, because it's still a pretty new relationship. And it's not like the kind of thing, you know, we're best buds or anything. It's more of a business relationship almost when we're on the course. But he's a great guy. You know, we still get dinner every now and then out on the road, and yeah, it's great.
What's your go-to dinner spot with him on the road?
Go-to dinner spot. It's nothing great. You know, I love crushing Jersey Mike's after a round. A cold sub is great, because I never want anything hot for some reason after a long day.
Okay.
You know, Jersey Mike's, Chipotle, just the quick stuff. I usually just want to get in, get out, get to the hotel, lay in bed. You know, eventually sometimes we'll splurge and go somewhere local, Mexican restaurant or something, but that's about it.
So your bio says you are a Hall of Fame Mario Kart 64 player.
Yeah, we should probably remove that. But it is true. I feel like you know, if anybody wants to take me on to some 64 Mario Kart, I don't feel like I can lose. I feel like, you know, I've been playing game since I was a kid.
What's your favorite track? Are you like a Rainbow Road guy?
No, I'm not a big Rainbow Road guy. Let's see. I like man, I don't even know the names of the track. The Koopa, the sand one, where you can get a shortcut. Yeah. You know, yep. I love that track.
I always screwed that shortcut up too. Yep.
And through the years, I've learned all these little shortcuts you can take, like glitches in the game, jumping walls and stuff. So, you know, I feel like I'm pretty top tier at the game. I would love to somebody challenge me and see if they can hang.
What about your driver on Mario Kart? I was always a Yoshi guy. Who'd you always pick?
See, I actually went with peach. I'm a peach main just because nobody likes picking peach for some reason, and I love beating them with a girl, so it makes it even that much better.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in the demographic of N64. Did you ever play GoldenEye and all that stuff?
I played GoldenEye, not a whole lot, but I definitely play a little bit of GoldenEye.
Okay.
Mainly Mario Kart and Mario 64 were the Mario games were my go-to.
All right,
is there anything else you like to do outside of golf?
Yeah, I'm a big bass fisherman now. I'd always fished growing up a little bit, but once COVID hit, man, I just was a deep dive into fishing. I was all over YouTube, and I have like 8 or 9 rods now. So anytime I go home after a week off or something, I'm going straight to the lake or straight to a pond, and I'm trying to catch me a toad. So that's what
crazy.
I love to do.
So you are living every man's dream, playing golf for a living and then bass fishing. That's insane.
There you go. What's your favorite bait, or do you use live bait? Do you use like spinners, crankbaits? What's your go-to lure?
Yeah, I'm an artificial guy. You know, I respect the sport. I'm trying to finesse these fish best I can. My go-to lure is either a wacky rig Cinco or a fluke. Those are my two confidence baits for sure.
Okay.
But man, that's all I think about when I'm on the road. I'm sitting here usually in bed watching YouTube videos on how to catch fish.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Steve, you got anything else? We'll wrap this up.
No, nothing else. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, I repeated a couple questions that you guys already asked, but yeah, it was a pleasure having you on. We really appreciate you coming on. You are definitely welcome to come on again. So
awesome. Thanks for having me, Cameron.
Carson,
Steve, appreciate it.
Carson, I'm a huge fan. If you are in contention on Sunday, I will be there. So
sounds good.
Best of luck. And again, thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Yeah, thank you. And don't be afraid to tweet at me again, Cameron. If you got a feeling, just go for it.
Yeah, and anytime you need someone to come root you on, I'm a text away.
Awesome. All right. Appreciate it, guys.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Carson.
See y'all.